Okay. 1, 2, 3.
That was perfect.
Like way delayed. I mean, yeah, it worked. Okay. Well, as a tradition, we don't have a tradition with how we're starting this. So, welcome to the long-awaited episode 3 of Note to
right.
Self.
That's right. Yeah,
It took a few months, but we're here.
Yep.
So, yeah, thanks everybody for joining.
Thanks for waiting. You waited so patiently.
We had the DMs lining up.
Oh my
trying to get us
goodness!
to do this third
It was
episode.
hard to answer each and every one of them, but we
were trying to be intentional about rest and.
That's right.
So
Yep.
We're rested and ready.
Yes.
For the
Hibernated,
2023 season of
yeah.
Note to Self. Okay, what are you doing today? What's on the docket?
What am I doing today? I took off yesterday, so heading into work in a bit. Get a workout in before then.
Nice.
Yeah. Podcast.
And you're doing
editing,
Whole
stuff
30?
Like that. I am
You're
doing
right in the middle
Whole
of
30.
Whole 30?
Yeah, that's
actually,
exactly
you're over
right.
the hump.
Yeah. We're halfway done. So it's all downhill from here. It's not too bad. You just have to make sure that you have food ready when you're hungry.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have food ready when you're hungry, then you
That's when
could
it gets
eat
dangerous.
something that's not on the list because it's just readily available. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you almost ate a slice of microwave DiGiorno's pizza while I was over there this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it did smell good, but I was just kind of messing with you. So,
Yeah. I'm proud of you.
What's funny is
your
both of my
willpower
sons
is
almost
commendable.
handed me a piece of pizza whenever I asked them to. So, thanks for honoring me that in that way. But also, you guys
You're
were
so
like, wait a
welcome.
minute, you can't. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you. You can judge your own conscience. I'll supply that.
Don't put that on me.
temptation.
Don't put that on me. Yeah.
I supplied the temptations that way when you
There you go.
overcame.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not
That was
really
part
that
of your
bad.
redemption arc.
You just gotta know what your triggers are. It's same as anything else, and then just kind of stay away from them as much as you can. So, yeah,
Nice.
there you go. What about you? What are you
Did I
doing
eat
today?
keto? What am I doing today? I have a meeting. Our company is hiring some contractors in Oklahoma City
Yeah.
to do photography for us. So I have a couple interviews with some potential people today. And then I am going to do a prayer room set at 11 o'clock, have lunch with a buddy, and then continue to have meetings and edit headshots. So,
Wow.
I did headshots for a whole company. So
You've got
I
a big day.
I think I did 13 headshots yesterday, like editing, and then
Yeah.
I have 5 left this week. So
Nice.
shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, you're almost.
I got to
done.
do my own too, which
Ooh.
that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So I'm like debating if I need a haircut before then. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I don't know. Your hair
We'll see
looks
if it
great.
happens.
Yeah.
We'll see if Taya is available. Shout out to Taya if you're watching. I
right,
don't know why
yeah.
you would be. She does a good cut though.
Does she?
Yeah, she's good.
Good.
Sports clips, baby.
There you go.
It's been a long time since I've been to like I don't want to hate on sports clips, but a basic barber shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I found a lady that does a good job. So I'm not bougie anymore.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I figured today we could talk, since it is the new year. One of our resolutions, I think, is to do this more often.
It is. It is.
At least once a month. But
You know
hopefully,
what?
like,
It's
more like every other
January,
week, I think,
and
is
we're
the goal.
doing this right now. So
We're doing it. Yeah.
It's
We're only 17 days late.
hey, we didn't say
From
we were going to
actually
do it on
starting.
January 1st.
You're right. Actually, this is recorded January 2nd.
That's right.
And post-production is what
we're just going
pushed
to
it back.
release it later.
Yeah, we're just, yeah.
That's
yeah.
exactly
we wanted
right.
the production value to be on
Yeah.
cloud 9.
Yeah, there's snow on
as
the
you can tell
ground.
from our
Resolutions
Zoom
are
video.
fresh. Yep.
Okay, well, I guess let's start with resolutions. I mean, I guess not keto. Whole30 was probably one of your resolutions. Do you have any others, or
I don't know.
How do you think about New Year's resolutions?
I don't really try to do resolutions so much.
Yeah.
Just because I know the stats on resolutions, which means, pretty much in February or March, even before then, half the people that make resolutions have already dropped them. So I'm trying to put processes in place for me to be successful in all areas. So, for example, I'm trying to work out 4 times a week. I'm trying to eat better. I'm trying to drink more water. I am shallow enough that I got a hydro flask for Christmas for our anniversary. Me and Mom got matching ones, which means I'm drinking a lot of water now because now I've got a bougie
because you have a
container.
cool receptacle.
Yeah, exactly. So it's more things like that. Mom and I started Bible in a year this year. And so we've just kind of been journaling about that. And then on our walks, kind of breaking it down together, just what we read. So I think this year is just more rhythms to put in place. I mean, goodness gracious, I'm going to be 50 this year. So
wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I don't feel it, but So I think it's just just setting things in place for me to be successful, and then it's up to me to follow through on those things. So, what about you?
Yeah.
What resolutions for you?
I feel like I'm kind of the same. Like, I don't love the idea of resolutions, probably just because my track record has not been amazing at keeping them the whole year. So I think I know people are like, an important thing with goals is setting obtainable action items. Like if I'm going to work out more, like you said, then I want to work out 4 times a week instead of just saying I want to work out more.
Right.
I think for me, the opposite is actually true. And so I feel like if my resolutions is vague, at least as far as actionable steps, then even when I kind of don't do great, I haven't technically failed.
Yeah. You give yourself space. Way to think about it or not. Yeah. No, that's really smart.
But last year, I think the only resolution I made was to call family members more. Yeah. Just because I have a lot of grandparents and, we have a lot of family out of town. And then I have, step family and, that's just I have a lot of people to call. So
for sure.
And I would just kind of call when I drove and, made time, and I think it became a rhythm, but it wasn't ever there was definitely months when I would just push back my reminders. Yeah. But I feel like on the whole, when I look back at last year, I'm like, oh yeah, I did great. I really value those conversations and, glad I did it. So, gosh, it's 9:00. All my notifications are coming in.
Oh, okay.
Give me 2 seconds to
no, you're good.
Make sure that's not a problem. Okay. But yeah, so I think this year my resolution was I want to cook more. So, and even if it's not anything fancy, I think I do want to try and do I can cook, but doing more fancy recipes and fun things that just make me enjoy cooking more. I think that was a big one. And then recording music. I think so. Those were my 2, New Year's resolutions. Just recording more stuff. I think I have I went through on a plane ride because plane rides are when I do things that I've been putting off because I don't have any internet to distract me, which is whatever.
I mean to do stuff like that on plane rides, but then I end up watching the new Marvel movie that I didn't really want to watch in the first place, but it was free. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
So.
It's hard for me to watch movies because I feel like people are watching with me. Yeah. And I'm don't watch my movie. This is my movie.
Or they're silently judging you, looking over your shoulder, why are you watching that? That is not appropriate for somebody to be watching.
Scene, and I'm And I'm don't watch. I promise it's Marvel.
Yeah. Well, I was watching Morbius So like that's like
Yeah.
the vampire superhero or whatever. So
Oh,
there's
yeah,
like these
for sure.
pretty graphic like don't look at my
They know I'm
screen.
a pastor.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but let's be honest. Like, I'm not completely productive. I listened to Harry Potter and also Shiny hunted a Dragonite. So
Yeah.
But the tail end of my plane ride was, anyways, all that to say, I went through my voice memos and I had about 60 voice memos of song ideas that I've like
Yeah.
recorded over the past 4 years. But have I recorded any of those or like done anything with them? No. So,
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, I think I want to make like at least just a Google Drive with some demos and then just
Do
at
it.
least I put some action behind some stuff.
Yeah.
So anyways,
Do it.
those are mine.
Yeah. You know, I've been writing periodically, you know, songs, and I was talking to Uncle Justin, and he said, you know,
Well,
you're
don't
really
be shy.
prolific.
You've
you know?
put out a few albums.
Yeah. Well, he was like, you know, you're really prolific at writing, and
Yeah.
but then I thought about it, and I'm like, I have my Hum, which is the app I use, like is full of like ideas and even finished songs that I've written, but I've never recorded. So I love the idea that you're taking the initiative to be more creative and to get that stuff down. You know, if nothing else for posterity. I mean, you're only going to make like 1/100th of a penny every time somebody streams your song on Spotify. And obviously I am not Taylor Swift. So, you know, I'm not going to ever make money on it, but I'm not doing it for that anyway, you know, and you're not doing it for that anyway. So, get it out there, you know, get it out there. Another thing, and I don't really know how to take this, but I'm sure my friend meant well when he said this, but my friend actually told me, you write the best songs no one will ever hear. Yeah. I mean, like, talk about, I mean, that was just, I know where his heart was, and I know that he meant it very sincere, but then I was like, huh, you know?
Yeah.
So I think, man, I know that this year I'm trying to be more intentional about finding out kind of what makes me tick. Why I do the things I do, why I respond in this way that I respond. You know, I don't want to make it about, you know, your childhood and, you know, repressed, all that stuff. You know, I'm not talking about that, but I am saying there are key events in our lives that form our behaviors and our thoughts toward a specific thing. And we don't even know it. And so I have a notebook at my office, and when I think about something that's a trigger, I write it down, and then I try to journal about it later, just to kind of break it down and say, you know, why do you think the way you think because of that instance? You know, and if it's informed and if it's true, then keep it, and if it's not, then say, look, I'm going to tell a better story and go with it there. So anyway,
Yeah.
my
And
2
even if
cents.
it's
Yeah,
even if it is true, there's something to be said for rewriting
for sure.
rewriting your future, you know,
Yeah.
like just because, I mean, I don't think nobody's heard your music by any means.
Yeah.
That's you know, I think a lot of people have heard your music, but just because that's not true now doesn't mean that it can't be true in 10 years.
You know,
And just because,
Oh, go ahead.
no, I'm just saying, like, yeah. And then at the same token, like, just because the reason you're doing it isn't money or views, like, if you go in with the mindset of like, I'm never going to make money on this, or I'm never going to get views on this, like, that's just kind of like, you know, I feel like that's shortchanging what the Lord's put in your heart or what he's put in your hands, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So like, just because it starts that way doesn't mean it has to stay that way.
That's really good.
So
Yeah, and I've written songs in the past, going back to songs, and when I wrote it, I wouldn't allow myself to change it, because in my mind I thought, this is the way it came out, this is the way it's got to stay, you know?
yeah.
And so then, just a couple of years ago, maybe I started kind of changing the narrative a bit on that, and just saying, I don't have to be tied to that, you know? Like, I don't even have to get up in the morning and say, I have to do this. No, you don't have to do anything. Like, if you do it, you do it. And if you don't, then don't feel bad about it. You know what I mean? I just think I put too much on myself when I say nothing can change. Like, everything has to be the way it's got to be, the way it comes out. And there's no way to edit or go back or improve or anything like that. You know, it's not, I don't know. It's not healthy. So,
yeah, I feel like, I mean, this is kind of related, but like one of my personality, like just a key part about like me is I really need a lot of information before I feel comfortable like making a big change, you know? And some of the people in my life that do amazing things and are just really effective in life are so quick to change their mind. And they could be like completely certain about one thing the next day.
Yeah.
And then the next day they get more information and then they're completely just as certain about a different thing.
Right.
And sometimes I'm like, dude, like maybe you should just like take some time and flesh through this before we like take a stand.
For sure.
In one direction.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I think there is something to be said for like the ability to be like, oh, I learned and I'm going to pivot and I'm not going to feel bad about pivoting.
Right.
I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to second guess my decision making because I made a wrong decision. I'm just going to go with the information that I have now and be just as confident here.
Yeah.
And I think that relates back to like music, what you were talking about. Cause I had this question too. And, kind of in a similar vein, but like creatively, it's really hard for me to change my mind because I'm like, am I going back on what I thought was the thing, you know, or am I like, you know, like almost cheating on the idea, you know?
Yeah.
I think, So I think that's something that I've wrestled with too, is it's like, if I'm working on a project and I like halfway through, I feel like, oh, maybe, or I'm just like, I feel like the pull of a different direction or like to change it or to tweak in this way. And I'm like, is that undercutting the heart of the project because I'm pivoting?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
I don't either.
I don't think there's a.
I don't think there is either.
Right or wrong.
You know, we edit. We do like a We Are Central video at church.
Yeah.
And so we just interview different people in the church, let them tell their story, and then, you know, package it together. That way people know others within our church community. And I always tell people after we finish editing, the edit's going to dictate the story. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't know what I'm going to focus on, but it always seems like as I edit, then this whole kind of linear thing, it looked like I was flipping you off. I'm not. This whole linear thing is like forming, you know what I mean? And like all of a sudden these pieces are being put in place. So I wonder if it's more about, I have this overarching idea, and in the process of change, I am putting pieces in place to make that idea come alive for somebody else. Because essentially, that's what we do as creatives. Like, we have an idea in our head, and then we try to play that out so somebody else can go, oh, well, that's what it looks like in your head, you know? Now, I don't want people in my head all the time, because they would be a little terrified sometimes about, you know, all the stuff going on in there. But when it comes to like something that I release into the world, you know, you really want somebody to kind of come along for the ride. And so I think the edit, you know, the process enables you to say, you know, this is the best way to present the way I think in that subject or whatever. So
I think, I mean, I think we're just full sending this topic now, but I really like where this is going, because I think even now that I'm like recording some music, let's like go back to when I like worked at a church and I was pretty involved in the music program there. Like I think, there's good and bad things about every program and every, every way of thinking and every approach to stuff. So like take that with a grain of salt. But
Yeah.
they were very focused on like, we want to make the experience on stage and the music on stage as close to the recorded album as possible.
Okay.
So we use tracks. All of our live instruments were playing the parts that the people recording it were playing. And like you like, there's a ton of different ways you can think about it, because like some people can't do that. Some people don't have the technology or the people to be able to pull that off. And I know there's the camp of, well, like if you're just copy and pasting what they're doing, then where's the like creativity, or where's the, where's the flexibility and room to flow? But I do like the heart behind it. I really loved, because they're like, the artist who recorded this, they had a vision from the Lord. They had like an idea. They had, this is the way they wanted, and they put time and effort into like producing it that way. And so their thought process was like, well, we want to put the same intention and time into learning it the way that you wanted it to be portrayed, and portraying it that way. Because we want to do the art and we want to do the heart behind it well.
Yeah.
We don't want to just show up on a Sunday and be like, well, I know the chords, so I can just play along.
Right.
They're like, well, we want to play it the way that it was meant to be played. We want to portray it the way that it was meant to be portrayed. And so I really appreciated that, but it definitely challenged my like thinking, because I came from like a very, like, we just go with the flow. We kind of show up on Sunday and do things because like we didn't have the time to do it. Otherwise it wasn't like one's not better than the other. Right. And so I guess my thing there is like, is there just as much creativity and expression in the post-produced world as there is in the live, in the moment world? Okay. And I don't think that just applies to music. I think that applies to a lot of things, but like, I think like we were talking about earlier, with writing, maybe it's not even like writing whatever, but like you could say that writing and public speaking are the same medium almost. You're conveying with text, and so it's like, is the post-produced or is the live better than the post-produced because the live is off your heart? Or is it like, is the processing and the changing and the editing also part of that creative process? Yeah. Those are really good thoughts.
When I've talked to people that and I think my dad was actually a preacher like this. He was a bivocational pastor, so he worked full time all during the week. Yeah. And then I think most likely on Saturdays when he would sit down and write his sermon. And I've had other guys come up and talk to me and just say, I'm just going to get up and Holy Spirit's going to say what he's going to say. Right. And I think about that and kind of the extemporaneous, the improvisation, the let's just do what comes to our heart in the moment. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of what you were talking about, but on the flip side of that, like when I prepare to preach, I think of a verse like 2 weeks in advance on a good weekend. And I start preparing and I pour through commentaries and I practice it, and it'll look ridiculous to some people because I'll be standing and walking around in the sound booth and practicing my sermon 3 or 4 times. And so it's kind of like that post-produced, like it needs to be exactly this way. But I would say that Holy Spirit was working in all of the study that I was doing to prepare for that, just as much as he was working in the guy that's like, hey, I'm going to go up and, drop a word from God. Both are, they're just different, So I think that's kind of where I stand on that. I know that not everybody can get up and do, elevation or whatever and have, an iPad or whatever running tracks. But I love somebody getting up with a guitar or a piano and just doing some spontaneous worship and whatever hits their heart. So
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, as with everything, you know, the Lord calls us to do things in excellence, and He, you know, He just wants our best, and He wants our heart. He wants our intent, the reason why we do the things that we do, to be for Him. And as long as it's there, I think we're good.
Yeah. Those are good thoughts. Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Like you said, I think the Holy Spirit can move in your preparation just as much as He can move in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think on the side of planning, like, I think there's an important ability to be able to like have your planned out thing and do it very produced. I guess sounds like a bad word, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, a polish.
have a plan,
like
execute the plan. Yeah,
right.
I like that word. But then also being able to be like, if something changes in the moment, I'm okay with that.
That's right.
And
yeah.
because of
we're about to do the bridge
polish,
15 times, you know, like something like that or whatever.
Yeah, sing "You Are Good" about 28 million times.
There you go. Well, He is.
Okay, so here's another question, because in like recording music and along this line, like, how do we feel about auto-tune? Because I know that about 90%, and that may be even low,
Yeah.
but 90% of music that we listen to
Yeah.
and try to emulate as like musicians or
Right.
whatever, you know, or I mean, we could say this about anything, models, Photoshop,
Yeah.
you know, like there's, I mean, I'm editing headshots for my company right now, and literally every single person I take pictures of, they're like, I look so old, the bags in my eyes, things like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell them what I'm doing to their face, but at the end of the day, I want them to be happy and proud of
Sure.
their photo.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm doing some things to these photos that some would probably consider like not being true to the photo, you know? But I'm like, at the end of the day, it's you, and I want you to be happy of
Right.
that.
You know that
I'm not photoshopping 30 pounds off anybody, but
No,
you know, I'm
no.
fixing some stuff and tweaking a little. So like,
Yeah.
how do we feel about this?
the headshot gets a click, right? Like the headshot is your foot in the door, as it were. And then after that, you've got to produce on your own. So I know for a singer, for going to auto-tune, I know for like a recording, I don't really want to call myself a recording artist because I don't really think of myself that way. But as somebody who
You're an
records,
artist that records.
yeah, I mean, as somebody that releases music, I know that it is very difficult to compete with auto-tune because I think when you produce my music, you may use some of it. You probably do on the stuff that I do. Let's see. It says work smarter, not harder. Oh, it says time
Is it
left.
telling you to take a break?
9:55. I think
Okay.
we're good. We're good.
Yeah, let's hit on this, and then we can do something different for the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, so auto-tune's hard for me to compare with because I don't have it, you know? And so then when I listen to my voice, I'm like, well, it's pretty good, but it's not what I hear everywhere else. I don't know. I think we could probably
Do we feel like it undercuts? Do we feel like it because this is my struggle. Like, I have it.
Yeah.
And it's really not expensive. I mean, I got it like over the holidays for like $35 because it was on sale.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So like there's there's ways to make it really cheap, and pretty much everything else I use is free in music production. I mean, I guess the gear and the equipment, you know, but like,
Right.
I don't spend $300 on plugins, and, you know, like Ableton has compressors and they have EQs and they work fine, you know?
Yeah.
I am very much in the camp of it's the artist, not the equipment.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
Right.
it's the archer, not the arrows.
Yes.
Whatever. But at the same time, like, yeah, do we feel like using auto-tune and things like that undercut the process? Do you feel like it's cheating? You know, I don't know. But everybody does it. All the Christian artists do it. So it's like, how do we feel about that?
Maybe
Is
it's
it
not
fake?
cheating so much as another tool. It's another tool for you to use. And you can choose to use the tool or you can choose not to use the tool.
Yeah.
I mean, because the great thing about autotune is it evens the playing field. Like, if I get autotune tomorrow, I can make myself sound like Phil Wickham. Like, I won't have his range, but I can sound similar to all these guys that I listen to on a regular basis with a $35 plugin. And so then it becomes kind of an everyman's tool that's in their belt.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, this is accessible for me. I'm okay to be, creative or sing or whatever too. I think at the end of the day, you have to be good with your voice without autotune. You have to be good with your instrument without autotune. You have to be good with your face without, editing. You have to be okay with what you have before you tweak it, I think.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's part of a bigger issue.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's part of mine because like I've just always hated my voice. I mean, I've sang since I was.
And I think everybody hates 15. Everybody hates.
I'm sure.
The way they
Yeah,
sing.
I'm sure. But then there's always like, but I really hate mine. And I think everybody probably feels that way. So I think that like even reverb and like there's a niceness to being able to be like, I can make myself sound a little bit better. But then in the back of your mind, you're like, is this cheating? I don't, and I think it's still something. Because even like, then there's people like Billie Eilish, and I don't know about, I'm not going to definitively say all of her music, but I for sure watch because her brother Phineas is her producer.
Right.
At least for some of it.
Yeah.
I don't know now, things may have changed, but
I dig Phineas.
a few years ago when
He's
I
good.
watched a lot of those behind the scenes stuff, like, she, especially on like Ocean Eyes and like those songs, like she didn't use autotune, and she was very intentionally like, I don't want to use autotune, but they also recorded for like weeks and had hundreds of takes to get it just the way they wanted.
So is that the same thing?
Like,
At the end of the day,
I
like
guess
you're picking and
that's
choosing from hundreds of versions of your song, So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I think what you said is very important. Like being okay with where you're at and what you have.
Yeah.
You got to be secure in that.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, like you said, it is a tool. So like, I don't know. It could be the same as like, do you tune your guitar before you record your guitar?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
probably should. Yeah.
You probably should. And most people do. Most people aren't like, well, an out of tune guitar is more authentic.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, an out of tune guitar is just an out of tune guitar.
Cutting edge for sure. All right. We're at 5 minutes. So we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah. This is not at all where we plan on going, but I like it. So
okay.
I think
Me
that's
too.
kind of the trend. But
I think this is good.
In honor of new-ish year, we hated all of the New Year's questions and trivia because it was just stuff about Kim Kardashian that neither you or I know anything about.
No.
So we don't really know much about like the Emmys or anything like that. We're not super bougie when it comes to that, but I feel like this would be easier for you to just guess. So I have a list of the 2022 Emmy winners.
Okay.
And I'm going to just pick a few categories, give you I'll probably give you 4 options.
All right.
And you tell me who you think the winner was.
Very good. Let's do it.
Best drama series, or not best drama series, but Emmy Award winner for drama series.
Okay. Wait, Emmys
Euphoria.
or TV, right? Emmys or TV?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, Academy is movie.
TV.
Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
sure.
Euphoria
Let's
is a
go with
TV.
that.
I think.
These are
I
TV
don't know.
shows for now.
Okay,
drama series.
Uh-huh.
Euphoria,
Okay.
which is from HBO. Squid Games, Netflix. Stranger Things, Netflix.
Wow.
Or Succession, HBO.
Oh, goodness.
I'm going to go. Random 4.
I'm going to go with Euphoria.
That's a great guess. But it is Succession.
Really?
Yeah,
I think that's on Apple TV, but I don't even know what that's about. Yeah.
My brother Michael says it's one of his favorite shows of all time, though. So
very good.
I think Michael Giacchino does the music for it. He really likes Michael Giacchino. Okay. Comedy series, Barry, HBO, Hacks, HBO, Ted Lasso, Apple TV, or What We Do in the Shadows, FX.
I'm going to go with Ted Lasso because that's the only one I've heard of.
It is indeed Ted Lasso.
Yeah!
I know.
Yep.
Okay. Let's do lead actress in a comedy series.
Okay.
You're not going to know any of these people. Quinta Brunson from Abbott Elementary, Kaylee Coco from The Flight Attendant. I think that's the girl from Big
Is
Bang
she like,
Theory.
yeah. Okay.
Issa Rae, Insecure, or Jean Smart from Hacks. So Quinta, Kaylee, Izza, or Jean?
Did you say Jane?
Jean.
Jean?
I think it's Jean.
Is it Jean?
Yeah. Yeah, it is Jean. Good job.
Was it really?
Okay. Yeah, it was. Good
Okay,
job.
so I got to come clean on that one. I was just trying to make sure I got the name right, and then I inadvertently guessed, and then I guessed correctly. So I don't think technically I should have the points for that. I'm just putting that out there.
It's all right. I'll give it to you.
All right,
Okay,
cool.
lead actress. This will be the last one. Lead actress in a drama series.
Okay.
Jodie Corner from Killing Eve. Sandra Oh, also from Killing Eve.
Okay.
Reese Witherspoon from The Morning Show. Or Zendaya from Euphoria.
Okay. This is probably wrong, but I'm going to go with Reese
Okay.
Witherspoon because
Yes.
one of Mommy's favorite movies is Sweet Home Alabama.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's a good one.
It was Zendaya.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a probably pretty standard one. But
Yeah. MJ, right?
It was cool to see Reese
MJ.
Witherspoon's name on there.
Zendaya's
Yeah,
MJ, right? Which is
She is
actually,
MJ.
fun fact, that's where Emma got her nickname from. For me, I called her MJ
sister.
forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was from
Zendaya.
No.
Just kidding.
It was from the Spider-Man comics. So, Mary Jane.
Zendaya was
Yeah.
Zendaya was in Step It Up. That's where I first saw her. The Disney show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, it was a vibe.
Greatest Showman, right?
Yes. Yeah. Her and
Yes.
what's his name? Crap. I look like a dummy now. Zach.
Big dude. Oh, yeah,
No,
yeah. Zach.
Zac Efron.
Yeah, Zach.
Yeah,
Zac Efron. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
less than a minute. We got to wrap this
I
up.
almost said Zach Galifianakis. Definitely not Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah, it's probably not that.
Is your audio still recording? Did we make it through this whole thing?
Yeah, I checked it a couple of times. I think we're fine.
Okay. Sick.
Cool.
Well, enjoyed this.
Me too.
Hopefully this becomes more regular.
Yeah.
We'll get on it.
Hopefully we
I think
figure out how to set up all our
the
stuff.
The hope was we
faster.
wanted to do it. Yeah. We wanted to do it in person, but I
Right.
think we finally just realized like it's either we
It's
do
gonna
it
be
in
hard.
person once every 6 months.
Right.
Or we just kind of do this.
Yeah.
So our production might change a little bit, but I think this was great.
I think so too. Love you,
So
Bo.
thanks for listening to episode 3 of Note to Self. Love you too.
All right. See you.
See ya. Let us know if y'all have any questions in the comments.
Oh, yeah.
Have a good day.
Down there. Bye.